were discussing the marriage conference with our special guest, the founder of the marriage conference itself, Sajid Hussain. Assalamu alaikum again.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Jazakumullah khairan for coming back. As before we went on the little commercial break, we were discussing the soul seekers. I personally am more interested in the soul seekers. So now, as a soul seeker, it's anonymous. I go into the event. I happen to be matched to someone. Now what's next?
Okay, alhamdulillah. The first thing is, soul seeker is not there for window shopping. It's got to be for those people who are serious about marriage. And alhamdulillah, this is one of the reasons why it's such a controlled event. And that's why a scholar like Sheikh Dawood, mashallah, oversights the whole event itself. Secondly, anonymity is very important, because today, if you're not going to marry somebody, then they have no reason to know about your life in terms of everything, where you live and what's your name, or etc., etc. So we make sure that it's very anonymous in that respect. Third thing is, the process itself, mashallah, is a process which really helps brothers and sisters understand the type of questions to ask. Like I was saying earlier, what training do we have about marriage?
None.
Most of us have no training at all. We just go into it because we think it's something that we have to do. So let's educate people. So for example, we have a premarital kind of quick workshop that we do like Uncle Idris will do before the actual event itself. The mindset that, oh, once I'm married, he will change. I'm sorry, that doesn't happen. If he's not reading his salah now, it's very unlikely you're going to be the cause for him to become reading his salah. Right. People do not change, you have to change. And that's one of the messages we try to get across. The other question was also about understanding the right type of questions to ask, rather than just asking irrelevant questions. You see, the concept of marriage today is based on Hollywood, Bollywood, Nollywood, rather than what marriage is actually an Islamic perspective. We have workshops which is called Love Stories from the Quran, which is an essence about what true love is. It's about relationships, to understand how the dynamics of relationships work. I mean, for example, in Soul Seekers, one of the educational process we give is that, the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teaches us about finding a spouse, from the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ, how to understand that someone, why you marry someone. Is it for the beauty? Is it for the lineage? Is it for the wealth? Or is it for the deen? And he emphasized deen is best for you. Doesn't mean that all of them you can't have them, but it just means that there's importance paid on some things, because all the other things like beauty, you may think, wow, she's amazing today, but in a year's time she's lost her beauty. Or you married into a very wealthy family, but in 6 months he's lost all his wealth. Or you've married you married a daughter of a sheikh, but then a generation from now there's no sheikhness left in it because dynamics have changed. But deen is also important. So the way the whole concept of soul seekers is done is where we help brothers and sisters understand what marriage is, give them the ammunition in terms of asking the right type of questions, and alhamdulillah, from there they're able to deduct and make proper judgments in terms of whether somebody is suitable for them. Now we have 150 questions. 150 questions on a range of topics. So we have questions on lifestyle, we have questions on travel, we have questions on money, we have questions on family, we have questions on religions, we have a question on like entertainment, hobbies, so forth. And we have random questions. Now the beauty of why the Soul Seekers is such a great event in terms of getting results is because you're not window shopping. Today, most people sell themselves on Facebook, on your CV. I am this, I am that, I've done this, I've done that. And yet there's a shallowness. Not everyone's truthful about who they are. So the way we do it, we extract the answers. So there's a process, for example, we have brothers, we have sisters in attendance, and each table will have a facilitator. So I'm a facilitator. You cannot talk to each other, you have to talk to me. So I will say, Sister S12, would you live with your mother-in-law? And the sister will respond yes or no. But then she has to give reasons why. Oh no, I don't want to live with my mother-in-law because I want my own space. Okay, no problem. Brother B2, is it important that your wife works once you're married? Yes, I want my wife to work. Or no, I don't want my wife to work. Why not? or because I want my wife to be a housewife, I want kids, etc., etc. You see, with all these questions, first we extract the answer. So it's not just a yes or no. Second thing is, most people who do not understand themselves cannot understand what they're looking for in a spouse. It's a logical thing. If you don't know who you are and what you want, then how do you know what you're looking for? It's a bit like, because then once again we go back into the Western media of what we should have as an ideal spouse, and that's the shallowness that's there. And so alhamdulillah, through this whole facilitation program, brothers and sisters are able to hear someone, they're able to see somebody, they're able to read their profiles, and only once they submit the selections that they choose, that I want to speak to this number and so forth, then what happens is we put it into our database and the system matches it. So if brother B5 chooses sister S12 and S12 also chooses B5, that's 100% match. When that happens, then the wali and mehrams are now part of the conversation. But still, they cannot exchange any information. They can discuss, talk, what's your ambitions, where do you want to do, what's your career path, etc. But they cannot ask any private information like, give us your phone number. That doesn't happen. Once the interviews are finished, we then tell them, go home, do istikhara, and then email us. It gives them time to reflect, is this a person I am interested in, or was it something that was, maybe there's doubts or so forth. Then it's important to istikhara, to seek guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so what happens is normally they get to the car park and they're already messaging us. But once they message us, we will then contact the other person, say, you had an interview with this person, do you want to proceed? If they say no, then that's the end of the matter. But if they say yes, then a few days later we invite both the families to a masjid or a community center or a coffee shop or somewhere, and then we tell them what we did as a process, and they'll say, now alhamdulillah, it's up to you to share details, we're done. We step out and then we leave the families to continue from there to kind of take the conversation further and so forth. And that's the process that we do, and mashallah, it's just amazing success rates. I mean, around the world, I get a lot of invites saying thank you so much, we got married, we came to the marriage conference, please come to our wedding. I'm like, I can't afford it anymore. All the gifts and flying around the world just to attend the wedding nowadays. I just said, my du'as are with you, and just keep us in your du'as, inshallah.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. All right, stepping away from the soul seekers, we go into the workshop now. The workshop is for married couples, newlyweds, or old married couples. All in favor?
Everyone.
Everyone.
Anyone. Basically, the workshop is more detailed information based on a main talk. Now, if you think about the day itself, it's a long day. What's human nature? Human nature is people have a short attention span. Nobody has time to sit for hours on end, listen to lectures. That's why on the marriage conference, you have nothing more than 30 minutes per speaker. I'm sorry, I get bored. That's the way it works. So the marriage conference format is, we will have a total of 16 sessions. In those 16 sessions, we will have talks, we will have panel discussions, we even have a movie that we are going to be screening exclusively on social media. Because let's look at the topic of social media. Unfortunately, one of the biggest reasons why divorces are happening is because of social media. There's no barakah left in what we're doing. Your family personal is no longer personal. The world knows about it. So it's about what the effects of social media are, especially amongst our youth. It's an amazing movie. It's only about 20 minutes long. We've shown it, screened it around the world, only dedicated for the marriage conferences, and it resonates with the youth a lot. We also have debates that take place at the marriage conference, and in some occasions, in some cities, we even have interfaith dialogues and also artistic performances about certain topics which people don't want to talk about. So we bring it out through various different forms. And so one of my key objectives is that you come to a conference, but you leave as if you've been to a wedding. And so the whole ambience about a conference is not like I'm sitting there and I'm listening all day long and I forget what I've heard. Everything is about like bite size, you absorb, you reflect, you share, next. Bite size, you absorb, you reflect, you share. And that's why, subhanAllah, the biggest challenge we have is the time somebody sits in the chair right at the beginning of the day, they're still there by the end of it. We have amazing speakers from around the world, but the content is so gripping. I mean, wallahi, it's so gripping that most people are thinking, give me more. So now we move on to workshops. So for example, there's a workshop taking place on like family matters. How do you increase the strength of a family bonding? Now this isn't for singles primarily because they're too interested in like finding matchmaking or soul seekers. This is now for those who've got parents. They want to know, how do I make my home? Get rid of your iPhones, get rid of your Samsung, have dinner and talk to one another, you know, have amazing reminders, read the Quran together as a family, all these type of tips that the scholars will share. The workshops are 45 minutes with a 15 minutes Q. We have people from a range of professions to give us different input. It's fantastic and it's amazing input you get from scholars. But let's look at the 21st century. We have someone who, mashallah, Brother Wael Ibrahim, who is a research analyst on pornography, who will be sharing some amazing tips on how to combat this, because it's rising on another level. And so you see, the marriage conference is not only about one particular group, it's for everybody. Everyone in the family can benefit from this. Those who just want to come and do shopping, there's an expo, because you got a wedding coming up and you want services, mashallah, perfect. Those who want to come and gain knowledge about how to find a potential spouse, you've got soul seekers. Those who are having problems and want a confidential and discreet environment, you've got counseling services where they can meet one-to-one, have private sessions. Those who've just got question and answers about a range of topics, they can come and speak to the sheikhs and the speakers through Speaker's Corner. So almost everything has got something for the other. And this is why what makes a marriage conference just an amazing event globally as well, mashallah.
Wow, that is a lot. I'd like to remember that the Soul Seekers is 10,000 naira. The workshop is also 10,000 naira, and the main talk is now 3,000 naira. You can get your tickets at www.oneummaNG.org and at the event on the day also. But remember, brothers, you have to get your tickets. They are going out very soon.
And the sisters too.
Sisters are always up for it, alhamdulillah.
One of the comments I always get is, you've got so much going on. I can't be everywhere at one stage. I know. But life is full of choices. Yeah. You have to decide what's important for you, and you attend that. If you really want to get married, don't sit around and cry about it. Get up and do something about it. Here is a perfect opportunity for an organization that's come from around the world to your doorstep, offering you a solution on marriage in a halal controlled environment. Your parents should be taking note of this. You, your family, your siblings or single should be taking note of this. At the same time, those who are having problems in the marriage, don't sit there and think the problems will go away. Deal with them. See specialists, see someone who can help you with your marriage. And that's why we have the counseling services there. And also very much important that those who are married, a lot of comments get, brother, I'm married, mashallah, for 17, 20 years. I'm okay, I have no problems. Alhamdulillah. But do you know somebody who has problems? That's the reality of this, because you may be happily married for so many years, mashallah, fantastic, but I guarantee you, in your community, in your family, your sister, your brother, your aunt, your cousin has a problem. It's a benefit for them. Learn and share with them, or even better, bring them along. You know, I always say that, mashallah, there is no better gift than the gift of knowledge.
Not at all.
Wallahi, I mean, today you could go out for a meal, spend 30, 40, 50,000 liras with it just like that. But when it comes to knowledge, we don't want to invest. And that's where the barakah comes, through this type of investment. You know, subhanAllah, I know people around the world which say, Brother Sajid, I cannot attend the event, but I want to sponsor 100 people to come and benefit from this.
Inshallah.
Why not? That's sadaqah jariyah for you on the day of here. And what is 2,000 liras, 3,000 liras?
3,000.
Nothing for a general kind of participation. If you're serious, brothers and sisters say to me, oh, well, 10,000 or 15,000 lira buy me a wife. I was like, Aki, if marriage was that cheap, we would all be married. The reality is that you have to invest in a marriage. It's not about the price. The event is just a tool to help you find a potential spouse. And mashallah, if Allah wills, and 50,000 years before the heavens and the earth was created, and your name was put next to hers, then that marriage will happen.
It will.
It's not about us. We're just there as a tool to help facilitate these type of events. Inshallah.
Inshallah, mashallah. The marriage conference is just the hammer. They hit the nail right in the head
Exactly.
to know it's about time. Go get married. MashaAllah.
MashaAllah.
Okay, with all you've said, now I'm there, I have my ticket, attended all the talks, the workshops, had fun, mashallah, had a lot of ilm. Then, so after all that, what's next?
It's all about application. I think, mashallah, you know, one of the things that we do is, alhamdulillah, you know, with the way our lives are, with the scholars and this and that, mashallah, we're gone Sunday. Most of us leave. We start flying back to our countries and so forth, and the next event takes place and we start focusing on that. But what the community here now has an opportunity. We will give you soul seekers for you to run for your community. So as I was mentioning earlier, what about soul seekers for those who are just divorcees only? The soul seekers we have at the weekend, which is taking place on this Saturday, the 6th of April, is for both divorcees and single people.
Okay.
However, in the future, you can just do a divorcee only kind of a soul seekers event, or you could do one for the disabled community, or you could do those who are looking for second or third marriages and so forth. So it caters for the needs of everybody within the community, and that's the beauty of what we're trying to do. At the same time, now that we've come to Nigeria, mashallah, this is not the first and it's not going to be the last time.
Inshallah.
We aim to put our blueprint out there and say, guys, get involved. There's a lot more to come. So alhamdulillah, you know, we have what's known as love stories from the Quran, which is Sheikh Yahya is going to share some of these tips with you. I mean, subhanAllah, we did this in Adelaide last Saturday. We did it in Joburg, in Cape Town, and Middelburg about beginning of March. So love stories from the Quran, mashallah, is an amazing, amazing journey, part of the whole happy marriage conference setup. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us a breakdown of every single relationship in the Quran. If you're a single mother, there's a story of Maryam. If you're two brothers working together, you got Musa and Harun. You got brothers against each other, you got the story of Yusuf al-Islam and anything. You got a good wife, you got the story of Ayyub al-Islam and his wife. You got a bad wife, you got Lut al-Islam and Nuh al-Islam. You got a good father, you've got Isaac and Ismail and Ibrahim al-Islam. You got a good obedient son, you got a bad son. The stories are there. Wallahi, the stories are so rich of true love. Not this popcorn love that the movies push down our throat. True love. Now, if you take their lessons, the lessons and lives of the Anbiya, and extract that and apply it to the problems that we have today, amazing.
Inshallah.
Absolutely amazing.
Inshallah.
I mean, look at the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ. Khadija radiallahu anha, she went and asked for the Prophet's hand in marriage through a friend. Musa alayhi salam, when he went and traveled through the desert and he went across, and the girl, Ya Abati, there's a guy, a character is good. She asked the father about it. Why don't we do that today in our communities? If we say we follow the path, then we should also look at how to follow the path. And I think unfortunately this is lost. So through this program we'll be introducing as well, inshallah. We're also looking to do a premarital conversation. So like I was saying, that in many ways we get training in many different fields. But what's the training in marriage? What's it all about? How do you understand the dynamics of marriage? And there's so much knowledge out there on a range of different topics that we need to understand. And inshallah, if the opportunity comes, working with the authorities, working with organizations like One Ummah, our aim is to bring a premarital course here. So brothers and sisters can come, attend the workshop for 2 days, understand, ask a range of questions with specialists, and inshallah, you know, improve themselves and be more prepared for marriage. Because nobody wants to get married to get divorced.
Nobody.
But we're seeing this harsh reality today. The cost of weddings is going through the roof. You know, people are finding it difficult to maintain marriages. And I think everything comes down to education. So inshallah, there's a whole range of programs. And we're hoping that inshallah that the audience comes on the weekend, benefits from this event, shares this event to the family and community. And I'd say bring anyone in the community. Marriage issues, by the way, are not just Muslim issues. They're also Christian issues. They're also Jewish issues. They're also a range of other issues. In Kenya, in UK, in other parts of the world, we've had interfaith priests and Catholics and so forth attending these events. Why? Because when drugs destroys a home, it doesn't look to see whether you're a Muslim or a Christian. It destroys your home. And one of our main aims is that bring the community together to understand these issues and how to overcome them. And mashallah, we have this response. Around the world, we have a lot of non-Muslims attending. Why? Because they're just interested in the problems are the same. Like I said, you have the same issues, whether you're a Muslim or a Christian or a Jew. That's it. You got a problem with your mother-in-law? It doesn't come down to Islam. It comes down to the culture. It comes down to the community. And that's the reality of it. And that's why marriage is so appealing across the board. I mean, subhanAllah, I'm now working with the ex-Soviet countries. We're looking to do the marriage conference in Russian. Who would have ever thought that one day we're going to be going to that part of the world and working on the marriage conference in Russian? SubhanAllah. Inshallah, we get to see the fruits of it, but that just shows how much the appeal is there. And it'll be a shame for the brothers and sisters in Abuja, especially in Abuja, because this is your community, that they missed this opportunity. They will be kicking themselves on Sunday by saying, I heard so much about it, and now I missed it. And look at the scholars you have coming. Absolutely amazing scholars. Wallahi, I mean, these are guys that, you know, you hear on radio or you watch a YouTube sensation. But what about in person, having a coffee with them? They're so down to earth. It's amazing. I mean, with I was speaking to, and a lot of them, subhanAllah, you know, when I tell them about a marriage conference, they're like, first question, is it safe? Don't believe the hype. Abuja is perfectly fine. You'll have a huge challenge at Lagos Airport, but once you get past that, alhamdulillah, it's a beautiful country. Amazing people, and the hospitality is second to none. And the reality is, a lot of the scholars don't see this, because the media presents Nigeria, whoa, don't go there. It's too dangerous. You're going to do this, they're going to do that to you. It's like, come on, yeah. They're Muslims, Bismillah. They're non-Muslims. At the end of the day, they're human beings. And if your Qadr is the way it is, Bismillah. But the reality is, when these scholars come and they come to these type of countries and they see the people and they meet them and they see the enthusiasm, they want to come back again and again and again. And mashallah, Sheikh Yahya already is coming back.
Yes.
I remember last year, Sheikh Yahya goes to me, goes, have you heard of an organization called One Ummah? I go, yeah. He goes, yeah. What do you know about them? I go, why? He goes, because they invited me for the One Ummah conference. I go, go. He goes, so I told him about how I met Sheikh Abu Bakr Muhammad in South Africa when he first came across the marriage conference many years ago. And he was like, we want to bring it to Nigeria. And I was going, well, let's work on it. And alhamdulillah, today it's becoming a reality. I was speaking to Sheikh Abu Isa, and he's got a huge following in Nigeria. I mean, amazing following. So he goes, bro, is it all right? I go, Sheikh, don't worry about it. Relax. He goes, what about the food? I go, it's got everything you want.
Everything.
You know? And Sister Zora Sarwari coming in from San Francisco, from Sacramento, mashallah. Amazing, amazing speaker. I mean, such a power speaker amongst the sisters, that you are getting a richness of different diverse groups. You've got Egyptians, you've got Pakistani, you've got British, you've got South African, and your local scholars, mashallah. You know, Dr. Abdul Latif, I had the opportunity to sit with him last time. Amazing man with a great knowledge as well. You know, Sister Mariam Limu, I invited her to the marriage conference in Birmingham last year. So she knows the concept, and she was, mashallah, she's key to this. Because she was saying to me, Saidi, we need this in Nigeria. I go, inshallah, one day, and today that day is coming. Brother Nuruddin Limu as well, mashallah, coming. There's so much that you can benefit from, or your family can benefit from, that it's sad if you missed out. And why? Because you couldn't get out of bed, or because you think 10,000 naira or 3,000 naira is too much to invest in your family, in your marriage, in solving the issues around. So be it. Then the only losers are going to be the ones who don't bother. But the ones who are proactive, inshallah, they won't regret it. They will actually, I remember there's a marriage conference that happened. I had to turn the lights off. Go home. It's done. It's finished. But they go, no, we want to stay. We want more. I said, no, there is no more. A lot of people say, why don't you do 2 days? I go, we can't. The topics are so heavy that you can spend like a month talking about them. But we know our community. They don't have the tolerance to sit there for 2-3 days. Numbers start dipping. The concentration levels aren't the same. One day, give us that one day. We will fulfill you. We'll enrich you. We'll empower you. And then, Bismillah, you can have the next day with your family and discuss it. Or take us out for dinner. No problem.
So now, especially for the soul seekers, before leaving, are you going to like set a committee that is going to continue the thing, or they're going to like contact you directly via emails or something?
No, Bismillah. I mean, we leave the model behind. Because all we want is our scales on the day of judgment to be heavy with good deeds.
Inshallah.
So we will say anyone in the community which is happy to be part of it, please contact One Ummah, get in touch, say I want to be a facilitator, or I want to take this to Kanu, I want to take this to Lagos, I want to take it to other cities. Do it. Do it, do it, do it. Why? Because it works, it's a system, it's halal, it's controlled, it's sustainable, and mashallah, you know, it's a great benefit. I remember, subhanAllah, I was walking through a shopping center in Malaysia, and this brother and sister walking past, and they stopped me and say, "Assalamu alaikum, brother Sajid," and "Wa alaikum assalam." I go, "Do I know you guys?" They go, "You probably don't remember, do you recognize us?" I go, "Oh, wallahi, I don't." I go, "I know I met you somewhere, but I don't know where." They go, "We came to your conference 2 years ago." I go, "Okay, mashallah." And I go, "And?" They go, "We were part of Soul Seekers." I go, "And?" And they go, "Oh, we got married."
MashaAllah.
And they go, "And this is your nephew." And I'm like, subhanallah. I'm telling you a true story, wallahi. I was in the UK at a shopping center waiting for my wife to do her shopping as usual, mashallah. And so she turns up, or before she turned up, I'm waiting there, and a sister walks up to me and she goes, "Are you Brother Sajid?" I'm like, "Whoa, Ukhti, who are you? I mean, do I owe you any money? Like, do I know you? Who are you?" She goes, "No, are you Brother Sajid?" I go, "Yeah." She goes, "You did a marriage conference." I went, "Where?" She goes, "In Malaysia." I go, "Yeah." She goes, "My friend attended and she got married from it." And I'm thinking, subhanAllah, I am 8,000 miles away from where I did an event, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends me somebody to tell me, "Listen, you have no idea the impact that these events are having on people's lives." Because I didn't know that her friend got, who her friend is, that she met at Soul Seekers, and mashallah, now they're married and raised a family and everything. So for us, giving the model, not a problem. Bismillah. That's part of the whole service that we want, because if we're not doing this for the community, who are we doing it for? Well, the risk comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the beauty of it. And so for us, it's like, let's just do the khair. And inshallah, you know, we can spread the marriage conference. Inshallah, take it to other cities, to Lagos next year, to maybe Kanu and other parts of Kenya and Uganda and Nigeria and South Africa and everywhere, inshallah.
Inshallah. Now, we would like to remind our audience members, the marriage conference will not be recorded. There will not be DVDs sold at the end. So if you do not come, you've missed out. Come, buy your tickets at the One Ummah website, www.oneummahng.org. Now, Sheikh, to wrap this up, because I'm sure everyone is paying attention and they really want this marriage conference to happen on Saturday.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. What is your take about Nigeria so far?
Wallahi, I think it's sad that I haven't come here sooner.
Alhamdulillah.
You know, I think, mashallah, the last experience I had here, so when like I said, a lot of scholars asked me, what's it about? Is it safe to go? X, Y, Z. And like I say, I have no problems in, when I understand the environment, I understand the people. That's one of the things I love doing, is watching people, reading people. And when I came to Nigeria, I'm thinking, subhanAllah, all these years, this artificial news about the country, the people, the culture, it's just been like brainwashing people. Come and see this place for yourself. I mean, just like, you know, other parts that most people don't want to go because they hear so much negative press. It's like, no one's going to take you and eat you. You know, mashallah, you have a great time and you will benefit from it. And so, to me, mashallah, you know, Nigeria is an amazing place, amazing people, great culture, a lot to see. I mean, it's beautiful to just go to the masjid and see the community attending the masjids. So many times I've been around the world and you can't get one row. And here at least you got people attending, and that's mashallah beautiful. I got the opportunity, mashallah, last time to meet the President Buhari as well, His Excellency. So that was really nice as well, and he was giving his, you know, warm regards to bringing such an event, international event, to this country. And we're hoping that inshallah through this we can build a more positive image about Nigeria. Get people to come. These are your brothers and sisters in Islam. Come and benefit from them. You've got amazing scholars, wallahi. Amazing scholars. I want to take them around the world. I want to take them to countries that I'm going to say, listen, I need your skill sets. You've got some. Last time I was so impressed. So, you know, I was asking Brother Abu Bakr, are they on the lineup? Are they coming? Because I want to see them, I want to meet them, I want to kind of introduce other scholars to them so they can sit and also, because this is how we grow the fraternity. You know, the ummah then benefits from the richness of the contribution from all of us, not just one group itself. And I think that's one of the things that, mashallah, you know, is a great benefit for me. Alhamdulillah. So,
MashaAllah. Jazakumullah khairan. To our Sheikh, to our viewers, our sister, thank you very much. And remember, the marriage conference is on the 6th of April 2019, this Saturday. Come one, come all. We hope to hear from you soon, or we hope to see you soon. Our show continues every day until the marriage conference. Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
wa alaikum assalam. Allahu Akbar.
See, now this is how you